Episode 5 is upon us as we are kicking off the trial of the seven. Chaos reigns supreme. And if you've not guessed it already, we are back for the post show in the name of the mother for episode 5 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the second to last episode of this amazing series. But like, subscribe, share, follow on Nerd Initiative anywhere on social media. Hit the notification button if you like what you're seeing. Never miss an episode of what we do here. And then www.nerdinitiative.com is where you can find us. Without further ado, let's roll into it. What's up, Westerosians? We are back. Yes, it is the second to last episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It has flown by this season in such a beautiful manner. We pick up where we left off last episode, where now the trial has begun. And Chris, I was not ready for this episode. What are your initial thoughts as the anticipation? We've been edged to this point, and it was worth it, dude.
Oh yeah. I am that the lead into episode 6 is incredible, but just the drive from 4 through 5, the setup has been stupendous. Last episode we had very minimal comedy. There is just nothing funny about this episode, and there's really no room for it. And it works. As much as I liked episode 4, I think this show continues to grow and get better and better and better and better. You typically, and the way Game of Thrones has always done things is that episode before the finale is always, that's the big one, right? It's almost always
they're known for it. Absolutely, yes.
It's like their calling card. That penultimate episode is the one that sets up that last episode. It's the crescendo, if you will, the orchestra, and they pull it off here. They still leave you wanting more, but it was good. It was good. I liked the action. I liked the film. The way they filmed it was beautiful. We get more insight into Dunk. We get more insight into how he got where he was, and it's really good. It's really
I wanted to talk about this really quick, man, because one of the things that stood out, and they've teased it throughout this season, is the camera work. They've kind of toyed with us a little bit with this first person point of view of looking through the knights' helmets down the jousts as they're doing the tournaments. But we see a lot more of it this episode, and it's visceral. This episode is just brutal from the camera aspect. It's grimy. Like, granted, it's a very somber day out, right? It's foggy, it's rainy, the mud is thick. You can hear it with the sound work, which I think adds so much depth to it. They're fighting, and really, yes, you see a lot of the fighting going on, but when you get down to it, a majority of this episode is spent with Prince Arian and Dunk fighting one another, and Dunk is just taking hit after hit. He's out of his element, and truly,
he's never been in a real fight like that.
No, this is his first real fight, and they make it very, very just hard to watch. He's not out there kicking ass at all. No. He is getting whooped, and that's one of the things I appreciate. Yes, and he's getting hit in the face from the joust. He's getting knocked off the horse. He's getting beaten into the mud, and he's taking damage. He's taking hits, and Game of Thrones, I wasn't familiar, I guess, with the book, and so I truly wasn't sure if they were going to kill him or not.
No, and I think that's the way that they build that, and where you are with, like, you're not sure if he's going to die. Like, there's more, but I mean, Game of Thrones calling card is killing like the most important person, and I mean,
episode like one or season 1 of Game of Thrones is
episode 9.
He's dead. So
or Sean Bean. He dies in everything.
We should have known. Yes.
Dude, if Sean Bean's in it, you just automatically say, "Oh yeah, no, he's gonna."
We should have known. Yeah, Sean Bean's in it. Oh, he's cooked. He's done. But yeah, dude, I thought he was dead. I did.
Yep. And one of the things, and this they mention it later in the episode, where they talk about how his armor is driven into him. Right, you got to remember they're fighting with like iron on iron, and they're wearing chainmail. It's really hard to get through that. Like, there's a level of strength, and so it's not just that you're going through it. It's not cloth.
He's stabbed in
they're
the
driving
that
metal in. and that's really kind of where the episode like it starts. It's very Saving Private Ryan with them like vomiting
Oh,
right
that's a
as it's about to
good
start.
yeah, that's a good
Mhm.
analogy. I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Yeah, Raymond. Well, I watch it every year because I show it in class.
I absolutely love that movie. Yeah, the way
It's a
the
great movie.
camera you wanna talk about camera work, absolutely.
Yeah, I can't believe Shakespeare in Love won that year. Anyway,
Don't even get well, when we do our
it's a
Oscar
whole
episode,
episode on its own.
we have some talk yeah, no, I've talked about this before, like, the Oscars that year is complete highway robbery, but we're here
Yeah,
yeah, no, we wanna talk about mer
we're thinking
anyways.
of Westeros. We'll make an
This
episode about that.
yes.
Join us for that one.
This episode, I mean, right off the bat, he gets stabbed in the gut, dude, like, you
Yep,
said throwing up, but Dunk is s damaged almost fatally right
he's
off rip.
bloodied.
Yeah, and
Like you've
then
got it. They've got to make it fair though, because like
they
in it,
do.
if
You
I'm
can't just
looking
have
at,
him running around whooping everybody because he's a very
yeah,
green knight.
I mean he's a tank, but he's not a tank's tank yet.
Yeah. No, the dude's like 7 foot tall, but he's not a 7 foot tall where he is very he's like a Bambi, you know, he's very clumsy. He's very wobbly legged. And one of the I guess me, because my left eye still doesn't work properly, I'm looking out of it right now and it's blurry, is when he gets hit in the eye. And then we get that kind of vision from his helmet and he loses kind of like sight in that eye. And I go, man, why does everything I gotta watch lately? Why are we doing this? The eyes, it's always the eyes,
Everybody's
man.
taking eye damage. Send Help had eye damage.
Maybe
Everything's
I
got
just
eye damage.
notice it more. Cold Storage has an eye popping sequence too, and I go, "Why is everything?" Maybe it's because I'm more attuned to eye damage now after my injury, but eyes.
Yeah,
Why is it always the eyes? God,
I felt that way after my fire injury, dude. Everybody was on fire.
gosh. But yeah, he's
But
getting knocked around, and then him and Arian go. We got to talk because this is worthy of a few minute discussion on its own. Arian's who's very high in himself, high in his own supply, right? These two are fighting, and he's whooping Dunk around, but Dunk gets him
Dunk's
in the
getting his licks
leg
in.
really good, man. Like he gets him in that one point in the leg because Dunk's about to get killed, but then Dunk gets him right in the leg, and he's bleeding really good at this point. Arian is, and then it's just, what are you thinking through this whole fight? Like it's a really good fight.
I think it came off as very even. I think the showrunners and the writers did a good job of making Dunk feel human because, like, right, I'm not a small person, but he's bigger than I am, and you're even bigger than I am, and
I'm
Dunk is
six
bigger
foot
than that.
four. You know, you would
I'm
think
six
that
foot two.
Arian would
We ain't small
probably be
people.
ragdolled, but you're in all that armor, it's heavy, you're in
Yep.
mud, so you're
It,
slower, so even it's a more even fight because of that reasons. I mean, if you think
and
about
Arian
The
would have
Dark Knight
trained in
Returns
that armor too.
oh, yeah. Arian's very fluid, that armor is not as heavy for him, he's trained in it.
Yep.
It's his
He's
armor.
trained in it, and I think like really either one of them had a chance to win, and by the end of it you get just they're both dragging, like they feel like they're exhausted, like as Dunk is dragging Arian by the leg, he's just it's he's exhausted, but he knows what he's got to do. And even like when we did in the I think the my favorite part about this whole episode is the backstories. They kind of
Oh,
like
yeah. Yeah.
backtrack a little bit. Because immediately he gets his bell rung, right? And then that's when he comes to and they really start fighting. So you get a lot of, I like how they told the story in this episode,
They go
right?
back to his upbringing, you know, essentially with, Arian and Pennytree. And basically Arian and Pennytree's get up, you punk, because there's that when you talk about going back, he gets his bell rung, but then there's that point where you think Sir Dunk has died on the battlefield where he sits down, that's it. You think the battle's done and over, Sir Dunk is dead, but then Arian and Pennytree's kind of flash back to that moment. He's get up, dude. What's wrong with you in different terms?
I like that they had Egg yelling that too. I
Yes.
liked
Get
the
up,
little
sir. Get
bit,
up.
yep, the little bit of interaction we get between the two because there's not a lot this episode,
No, 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 not at
but
all.
when uh Egg is walking out and he's giving him his lance and he turns and he says, and it's very like you can tell that he's not 100% sure, but he says, you best be here when I get back, if not I'll hunt you down. I'll hunt you down with dogs. And the
Yeah.
dogs line from episode 2 that has been one of
Yeah.
my favorite. I've talked about it constantly, and I think going back to that, especially for me, it hit it hit an emotional chord because you're like, oh, like we're getting into it now. It's go time.
Yeah. You're right. I do love that because y Egg is very concerned, and it's his high-pitched voice too that he's a child. It reminds you again
Mhm.
he's a child watching this, and he's like, "Get up, sir." And then that wait, his
Yeah,
high-pitched wait as Dunk gets up and then just takes it to Arian, beats him, and he has a chance. He could kill Arian, but he shows him mercy and he's like, "Give up." And then that's when Arian goes, "I yield." And he
mhm,
basically grabs him and makes him yell it to where Arian's like, "I yield." And it's this moment of, holy crap, a
yeah,
Targaryen has lost to this hedge knight that everybody has doubted from episode 1 to this point. There was nobody having faith in this dude. We just watched him get whooped left and right, taking shot after shot after shot. And then he will not stay down. And this shows more to his character, and it really
yep,
goes into his life. He refuses to stay down. And shout
ever.
out to Peter Caffley because, oh my goodness, does he ever portray it so well? He's bloodied, he's beaten. He goes in there and he's just sitting there and they're trying to tend to his wounds as he's bleeding out. And then this caught me completely off guard because you're in this false sense of everything's okay. Prince Baylor walks in and he tells them to take his helmet off, and they take his helmet off and it rips the back of his skull and he dies.
Like just
What?
completely. He says his
What?
fingers feel wooden, and if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense because there have been things I cannot for the life of me, and I want to say it's an M Night Shyamalan movie. Actually, I
Oh
think it
boy.
is because he's the driver of the car that hits the wife of whoever it was. It might have been Signs, and
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was Signs where she
and
dies.
she's
Yes,
pinned
yes, yes,
against the
yes.
tree
It was.
because they know if they move the car, she's going to die because that's the
Yep.
only thing because it's just cut everything off. And like it makes total sense. It just basically repurposed his skull and then he just falls out. And that's where the episode ends. And to go back to your point about character building, this episode was probably the best episode of character building that we've
Yeah.
gotten for Dunk of the entire season, and it's more about his character than it is about the
It's all through
fighting. And
actions too. It's
it's
not character driven from a narrative aspect. It's all
mm,
character driven through his actions. You're 100 because then he starts crying and he's holding his dead body crying.
yeah,
And I mean, you really feel that emotion because Prince Baylor didn't have to step in on his side. He
he
wasn't going to
he was
until
apologizing.
yeah, I mean, I'm sorry this happened. Like I none of this was meant to happen. And it was just also visceral in the sense when they took his helmet off and you heard the rip and then
Yep,
he touches the back and you're just, "What?"
yep,
And it's not again, it's not Game of Thrones unless there's a big death.
yep.
It's just not the death you thought was coming.
Nope.
Because I would have
And
thought Arian was dead. I would have thought he killed Arian. With
yep,
going into this episode blind, I go, "Oh, it's either Dunk or Arian. One of these 2 are dead."
yep.
But
And
no.
it's just such a beautiful way of showing his character. And they kind of juxtapose the Baylor dying and him dying in Dunk's arms with the death that happens earlier in the episode with
Yeah.
Rafe, who is like his young friend. They were like grave robbing to survive to get out
Oh,
of
yeah, that's
Flea
right.
Bottom in a night of or out of King's Landing. She ends up getting killed by the Gold Cloaks.
I completely
So
forgot all about that. Yeah, dive us into that because that is right. The backstory that we get with Dunk and his friend, where they're robbing people to get out, and then that's when
mm,
that piece of trash knight comes in and cuts her throat. It was,
cut
yeah,
cuts her throat, and as they're going at Dunk, who's been stabbed in the leg, that's when Sir Arlen Pennytree opens the door, vomits out of a pub, sees that there's a problem, and then proceeds to, in a drunken stupor, beat the hell out of those guards as an old man.
and
He was
it's another
slinging
like
things around.
grimy
Is
fight
another
too.
example of it.
Like he kills the one dude easily, but then him and this other guy they're rolling on the ground, and Dunk's kind
In
of
the
helpless
mud.
at that point as a kid, And it ties right into that whole episode where Dunk's in the mud himself.
Yep.
And
They
you're right.
juxtapose it so well. It's all about the journey for him, right? Because then he follows Sarah Arlen.
Yeah.
And Arlen really, I mean, he's a knight, so he probably saw him at some point. But Dunk like passes out following him, and that's when that you get that transition to modern times, or their modern times, where he says "get up," and then it's boom, we're right back in the mud in the
Yeah.
at the trial of the seven.
It is
I love this
excellent
episode. It was
storytelling.
so good.
This I could gush for probably hours about how good this episode was from every single standpoint. The sound, the acting, the character, the
Yep.
narration, like everything about this was beautiful. The way that they interwove the past sequences and everything that made Dunk who he is right from the get-go,
Yep.
losing. And it also speaks to why he stepped in to help the girl that he has a crush on in the previous episodes,
Yep.
right? Because
They look
he
similar.
stood by. Yeah, they look similar. And he had this already happen where he stood by and somebody killed somebody he cared about before. And so of course he
Yep.
steps in. And then of course he has this loyalty to this guy, Sir Pennytree, who saved his life, who gave him this chance and got him out of this bad scenario. And it's kind of there with Prince Baelor, who saved him from having to forfeit and probably be killed. And then they both end up dying, and it just ties and everything comes around full circle, setting us up for an episode 6 of where do we go from here? Because now Prince
Yep.
Baelor has died. Are they going to just let Dunk wander off free? Like, what is going to happen at this point?
Not only did Prince Baelor die, but Prince Makar killed him. Prince Makar is the
Yes.
one who hit him because he says, "My brother has a strong hand," and
Everybody
guaranteed
else was
Makar
throwing
did not
punches.
mean to kill his brother.
No,
Right?
and so
Again, brothers play
yeah,
too rough even at all times, so it makes it like
it's those memes where, like, you're
it's
beating the crap
tragic.
out of your sibling and they have a missing limb or something. You go, "Please don't tell mom. I promise I'll let you
Don't
play my
tell mom.
PlayStation." But
Yeah,
you're right.
I'll let
He does kill him. While everybody kind of had an understanding that they're gonna pull their punches, they're gonna make it look good going into this, but really
you. Yeah,
they're gonna let Dunk and Aryan pretty much settle their beef on the battlefield while the rest of them
yeah,
are just gonna make it look good. And so you
yeah.
get, you know,
And there was another
Baratheon.
knight dude who
Yeah.
died too.
There was death. Oh, there was death. Yeah,
At
absolutely.
least two.
And I'm glad to see, you know, Baratheon come out alive because I love him. I love his golden armor. He's awesome, but the ramifications setting up for this final episode, and there's a lot of ramifications. We don't know
A
what's gonna
lot.
happen. I mean, we know what's gonna happen because we've seen it,
Yeah.
but how it kind of
But
like, where do we go from at this point? Because what happens next?
so to that point, we watched this like a month ago. Like when we got it, we started planning for everything that we
Yeah,
were doing. So that it's been really nice getting like a refresh. And this, I am not a show rewatcher.
I'm
I am.
typically not too much either.
It very very much depends. I've watched The Simpsons a million times. I've watched
It has to be something
Scrubs
that can
over
turn
and
my
over.
brain off. If it's something that's like deep Game of Thrones level, you know, that's where you have to think. I don't typically rewatch. I'm with you on that one.
Well, even with that, like I'll sit down and watch. Oh, I will watch Scrubs. I will watch The Simpsons. But this,
Fair.
I've watched 3 or 4 times in a week and
Yeah.
never been
And for
bored.
30-minute
Never been
episodes, they do a
not
really good
engaged.
job fleshing out everything. It's a quick, but it's not a quick where you're sacrificing elements.
No,
It's very well done at that. And
it's
amazing.
extremely well done.
It's what I wish, you know, if you're going to do 30-minute episodes, whether you're HBO, Marvel, Disney, whomever, this is what I want to see from your 30-minute episodes.
Yep.
They wrap it up and get so much in there. And yeah, episode
You'd be
6,
wanting more.
you do. And episode 6 is going to be the finale where we kind of tie things up. And I do believe, like, if I'm not mistaken, that they announced this show will come out annually. So it's been renewed. We're going to get to follow what happens, and you kind of can figure what's going to happen, especially if you know the book. But yeah, man, this was the crescendo. This was everything building to this moment. And now episode 6 is going to take us into the fallout and beyond. And man,
It's going to
this
set up
episode,
where we go next in
yeah,
the next season.
this episode just start to finish, heart pounding,
Yep.
insanity, chaotic from every single element. So make sure you guys let us know what your thoughts are on this episode. Make sure you subscribe here if this is your first time checking out our post show. We've got one more episode left after this. I don't know if we're going to go live, probably not for the finale, but nonetheless, hit the notification button because we are going to be here with our post show. This one ran a little bit longer, but there was a lot to discuss.
It's a
We
longer
typically
episode.
it was, we try to keep them around 15 minutes, but hey, you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. And this episode was packing punches left and right. Every Sunday night, right after Game of Thrones, or I should say Night of the Seven Kingdoms, is our post show. One more to go. Make sure you tune in. We also have a lot more coming down the pipe. Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. We've got that coverage coming up. Chris will be at South by Southwest. That's coming up. MegaCon Orlando, where I will be with Lauren and our founder, Michael. And you can just make sure you follow our social media accounts for that. Until next time, please don't go trouncing in the mud, fighting your brothers or anything else, whatever you do.